let's begin. I'm going to be teaching you congregational songs in this video. And in particular, I'm going to teach you a method that you can use to play congregational songs in all 12 keys. So we're going to break this video up into 4 different sections. The first section is going to be the foundational section, or in other words, I'm going to teach you things that are necessary in order to be able to play these songs effectively. The second part is I'm going to give you, if you will, the formula for playing very popular congregational songs. Things like Bless That Wonderful Name of Jesus, or I'm a Soldier in the Army of the Lord. So I'm going to give you the formula to play those songs in any key. The third thing we're going to talk about, the third section is going to be on things that you can do with your left hand or bass lines to help fill the song up, to make it sound full. And then finally, the fourth thing is I'm going to give you several things that you can play to really add spice or flavor to the songs that you're playing. Okay, let's begin with the foundation. Now, the foundation to what we're going to do is knowing your major scales. And by knowing your major scales, I'm referring to this. Now, it's vital that you know your major scales, but you also know the numbers that go to each note of the major scale. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and back to 1. And you need to know all 12 major scales and the numbers that go to each note of each scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you need to know all 12 of your major scales. And the reason that's so important, the way we're going to learn the songs is we're going to establish what chords you play by what number that particular chord is on. So that's why it's so important to know your major scales and the corresponding number that goes to each note of the major scale. So I would encourage you, spend some time getting comfortable with the numbers and the notes of each scale. All right? Now, along with knowing your scales, it's very important to know 4 types of chords. I'm going to show you 4 different types of chords. Now, the first chord is very simple. It's the major chord. Now, whenever we play the numbers 1, 3, and 5 together, that's a major chord. It's very simple. Most of us know that. Okay? So it's very important to know all of your major chords. And for the purposes of this particular video, I would like for you to play your major chords in what's called root position, meaning the 1 is the note furthest to the left or the bottom note. Okay, this is root position, 1, 3, then 5. Okay, so this would be D flat in root position. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 1, the 3, and the 5. This would be D in root position. E flat major in root position. The E major chord in root position, the F major chord in root position, G flat major chord, G major chord, A flat major chord, A major chord, B flat major chord, B major chord, and then finally back to the C major chord. So you need to know all 12 major chords. Also, if you know your major chords, it's very simple to play these other chords that I'm getting ready to show you now. This is C major. Now, in order to convert this major chord into a minor chord, we simply just move one note or change one note. This middle note here, which is a 3, and we change it to flat 3, which would be this note right here. C, E flat, and G. So this would be the C minor chord. And I just moved the middle note to my left 1/2 step, or to the note right next to it to the left. All right? This is D flat major. Now, if I want to make this into D flat minor, I will simply take the middle note, move it to my left 1/2 step or the note right next to it. So this would be D flat minor, which is D flat, E, and A flat. Okay, let's do one more. D major. All right, which is D, F sharp, and A. This is the first, the third, and the fifth of the D major scale. So this makes the D major chord. And we take the third note, which is F sharp, and if we want to make it minor, we simply take this note and move it down to the left 1/2 step to F. D, F, and A, and this makes this chord D minor, okay? So it's really important that you know how to play all 12 major chords, and now you know how to play all 12 minor chords simply by taking the middle note and moving it down 1/2 step, okay? We're going to talk about 2 more chords. The next chord is the dominant 7 chord. Now, the dominant 7 chord consists of 4 numbers. The number 1, we're in the key of C right now. The number 3, the number 5, and the number flat 7. Okay? In the key of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 would be B natural. Well, we don't want B natural or the natural 7. We want the flat 7, which would be B flat. Okay? So the 4 notes would be 1, C, 3, E, 5, G, B flat, flat 7. Okay? Let's try another key. Let's do it in the key of F. Okay? F would be 1, 3 would be A, 5 would be C, and flat 7 would be E flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then flat 7 would be the E flat. Okay, so technically that is how you would play a dominant 7 chord, a dominant 7 chord, okay? And that's indicated by a note and then just the number 7 beside it, okay? Now I'm going to give you a shortcut way that you can play that chord without having to do a lot of thinking about it. Let's go back to the key of C. If we know this is C, and again, I want you to play this in root position, it's real important. If this is C major, a simplified way in order to play a dominant 7 chord is simply take the root of the chord, which is this bottom note with my right hand, and I'm going to move it down 2 keys like this. 1, 2. So we're going to move it to B flat. Again, I take the root and I move it to my left exactly 2 keys, which is a whole step. 1, 2. All right. And this would be considered C dominant 7. Now, many times I would just simply play the root with my left hand. I'm playing the root, which is C, with my left hand now. And this would serve as C dominant 7. Okay? So that's a shortcut way you can play a dominant 7 chord. Let's try it in a different key. Let's do it in the key of A flat. Now this is A flat major. A flat, C, and E flat. All right? Now, the shortcut way to play A flat dominant 7 would simply be take the root, which is A flat, and we're going to move it a whole step to the left, which is just 2 keys. 1, 2. We're going to move it to G flat. And these are the notes: G flat, C, and E flat. And if I like, I can play the root, which is A flat, with my left hand. And this would be A flat dominant 7. And again, on paper, this would be indicated by A flat and then the number 7 beside it. Okay, let's do one more chord. Let's do the A dominant 7 chord. Now this would be A major. Now in order to play dominant 7, we simply take the root and move it to the left 1 whole step, which is 2 keys. So it would be this: 1 and 2. Okay, so I move from this A to the G, which was 2 keys to the left, and I'm playing the root with my left hand. And this would be an A dominant 7 chord. So that's a shortcut way in which you can play dominant 7 chords. But it all goes back to knowing your major chords well first, okay? And we're going to do one more chord. We're going to do the diminished 7 chord, okay? Now, the way I'm going to show you the technical way of knowing what a diminished 7 chord is, and then I'm going to show you a shortcut way. A diminished 7 chord consists of the numbers 1, flat 3. Now we're in the key of C. C is 1, E flat would be flat 3, flat 5, which is G flat, and then we have what's called a double flat 7. The 7 is B, flat 7 is B flat, and double flat 7 is A. So technically that's a diminished chord, a 1, a flat 3, a flat 5, and a double flat 7, okay? Now we're going to make it a little easier than that. We're just going to simply play the root, and we're going to move to our right 3 keys like this. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do the same thing again. Move to our right 3 keys. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, and there you go. C diminished 7, the exact same thing. It's just an easier way to think about it, okay? Let's try it in a different key. Let's see if we can figure out E diminished using this particular technique. Okay, so we're going to start with the root again, and we're going to count up 3 keys. 1, 2, 3. So that's the second note. 1, 2, 3. That's the third note, and 1, 2, 3. That's the fourth note. All right, and so that's a very simple way to figure out any diminished chord. Okay, so again, for our purposes in this video, we're going to be dealing with the major chord, the minor chord, the dominant 7 chord, and the diminished chord. So that's the foundation for this particular system. All right, let's move further. Now in this section, I'm going to teach you or share with you the numbers that you would need in order to play the song, I'm a Soldier in the Army of the Lord. Now we're going to do this in the key of E flat. But first, I'm going to demonstrate some things that you can do while playing this song, and then I'll go back and break it down for you and show you how the numbers apply to what it is that I played, okay? Okay, all right, so those were some basic things that you can do for playing the song I'm a Soldier in the Army of the Lord. Now, the song is really simple in terms of the foundation. And what you're basically doing is you're staying on the 1. Okay, again, we're in the key of E flat. So the E flat scale would be this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back to the 1. E flat is 1, F is 2, G is 3, A flat is 4, B flat is 5, C is 6, 7 is 7, excuse me, D is 7, and E flat is the 1 again, okay? And so basically what we're doing is we're sitting on the E flat, playing a dominant 7 chord, okay? So I'm a soldier on the 1 in the army of the Lord. And then we move to the 4 of the key, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, A flat. And then we're gonna play a dominant 7 on the 4. I'm a soldier in the army, okay? And this is a progression, meaning a series of chords, which would be the number 2, moving to the number 5, and then finally to the 1. It's a 2, 5, 1 progression, okay? And so the chords that we would play on the 2 would be dominant 7. The chord that we would play on the 5 would be dominant 7. And then the chord that we would play on the 1 would also be dominant 7, okay? So to keep it real simple, we are basically playing dominant 7 chords on all of the numbers on this particular chord. So again, the formula would be, or the very raw basic formula would be, I'm a soldier on the 1 in the army of the Lord. Now we're going to move to the 4. Then 2, 2, 5, 1. And we start over. 1, still on the 1. Then we move to the 4. In the army. Okay, so that's the real basic formula, okay? And the reason it's important to think of it like that is now I can take that and apply that to another key, okay? So the formula was on 1, and then we went to the 4, and then 2, 5, 1, okay? Let's take that same information and let's go to a new key. Let's do it now in the key of F. Okay, so the F major scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, F, G. F is 1, G is 2, A is 3, B flat is 4, C is 5, D is 6, E is 7, and then back to the 1 again. Okay, so I'm a soul on the 1 ger in the army of the Lord. Now we're going to go to the 4, which is B flat, then 2, 5, 1. Okay, so now F is 1, B flat is 4, G is 2, C is 5, F is 1. And that's the formula. So we could take that and apply that to any key. Let's try it in the key of A flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. Then to the 4. In the army. And then we just keep repeating that. Okay? So now let's put some flesh on the bones, if you will. Let's kind of fill it up a little bit. We want to play chords along with those bass notes. So, as I mentioned before, we basically played all dominant 7 chords. Now, what I want to do is show you a real simplified way that you can chord these particular bass notes that you're playing with your left hand, okay? And what we're going to use tritones, what's called a tritone. Theoretically, a tritone is an augmented 4th or a diminished 5th. Okay, I don't want to get too technical theoretically, so I'm going to show you a real simplified way of figuring out the tritone that goes to a particular bass note. Okay, let's go back to the key of C. Now, this is a very, very simple way of figuring out a tritone that goes to a particular bass note. Okay, so we're going to play this C with our left hand, and we're going to play the tritone that goes to this C with our right hand. But the question is, how do we figure that out? Okay, it's actually the 3rd and the flat 7 of this note here. Okay, and the 3rd of C would be E, and then the flat 7 would be B flat. And so this is the tritone. So a simple way to find it would be find the 3rd and flat 7 of whatever the root is. Okay, so if we were in the key of F, this is the F scale again. The 3rd would be A, and the flat 7 would be E flat, okay? And that's how you find the tritone for a particular root note, okay? Now let me give you a very, 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 very simple way of finding a tritone. Now, one additional thing that you can do is whatever the root is, simply count up 4 half steps, or count to your right 4 half steps like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then count down 2 half steps from your root. My root is F, 1, 2, and those 2 notes would be the tritone. So think of it like this: 4 to your right, 2 to the left. 4 notes to your right, 2 notes to your left, and I mean half steps, okay? So let's try another one. Let's try to figure out the tritone of B flat, okay? So if we think of it like that, 4 notes to the right would be 1, 2, 3, 4, which is D, and then 2 notes to the left would be 1, 2. A flat and D. So A flat and D would be the tritone of B flat, okay? So that's how you can figure out the tritone to any given bass note that you're playing, okay? Now, once you figure out those two notes for the tritone, you also can invert them, or in other words, change the position or the order of those notes. So instead of playing A flat and D, I can play D and A flat, okay? And it still works. And it's still the tritone for this bass note. I'm just inverting or just changing the position or order of the tritone, okay? So however I prefer, I can play that and it still works. So that's a real simple way to play the tritone, okay? So now we're gonna go back to the song, I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. So we're gonna play tritones on each one of these bass notes, okay? Let's go back to the key of E flat. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. Now to the 4. In the army. Okay, that was the 2, 5, 1. Okay, so again, I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. I'm a soldier in the army. Okay, let's take that, let's apply it to a new key. Let's do it in the key of G. Okay, so we're gonna go from the 1, this is the G major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From the 1 to the 4 to the 2 to the 5 to the 1. Okay, and we're gonna play dominant 7 chords on each one of these, and we're gonna use the tritones in order to play them. Okay. All right, so we're gonna say, I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord to the 4. I'm a soldier, then 2, 5, 1. Okay. Now we also can use the shortcut way that I showed you. Is where we take the root and we move it down 2 keys like this. So let's try it that way now. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord to the 4, and in the army. Okay? Alright? So that's a very basic foundational way of playing the song. Okay? Once you have the foundation down, then you can go back and add things to it to add flavor and spice to it so it can really sound really good. And we will discuss things that you can do for any congregational song later in this particular course. Now I want to share with you a song that has a slightly different formula to it, and it's the song Bless That Wonderful Name of Jesus. And I'm going to play this song first, and then I'll go back and share with you the formula for the song and break down for you the exact numbers that I'm playing, okay? I'm going to demonstrate this in the key of F. Okay, so that's a way of playing the song Bless That Wonderful Name of Jesus. Now let me break down for you the formula or the numbers that make that chord, make that song happen. Okay, basically what we're doing is, now I'm in the key of F again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1. Okay, that's why it's really important to know your major scales. Bless that wonderful name on the 1 of Jesus. Then we move to the 4. Bless that wonderful name of Jesus. That's the 2, 5, 1. And then we do it again. Bless that wonderful name of. Now this is where it changes. Jesus. Where we move from 5, sharp 5 to 6. And then we move to no other name to the 5, I know, back to the 1. Okay, so again it's Bless that wonderful name on the 1 of G on the 1 still. Then we move to the 4. Bless that wonderful name of Jesus. That's 2-5-1. Bless that wonderful name of 5 sharp 5 6 Jesus. Then 2, no other name to the 5 I know. Okay, so that's the formula for the song, and we can apply that to any key. Okay, so let me just play real simple chords so you can see how it works in context. So we're just gonna do dominant 7 chords, and when we get to the slight difference, I'm gonna give you some different chords to play there. Okay, bless that wonderful name. I'm just playing F dominant 7, Jesus. Now we're going to the B flat. Bless that wonderful name of. Now we're going to do 2-5-1, and we're just going to play the tritone right here. Jesus. All right, back to the dominant 7. Bless that wonderful name of. Now this is where it changes just a little bit. Okay, what we do actually is we play 1 major with a different bass note. Okay, and what I would call this F major over C, or 1 major over 5. Okay, meaning I'm playing a major chord on the 1 with my right hand, and with my left hand on my bass note, I'm playing the 5th note of the F major scale. So I would call this 1 major over 5. This is F major over C, or 1 major over 5. And then we would go to G. Then we would go to sharp 5, diminished 7. Okay, this is sharp 5. C sharp would be the sharp 5, and we're playing a diminished chord on that. And then we go to the 6, and we're going to play a minor chord on the 6. Okay, so from here to here to here, which again is F, or 1 major over 5, moving to sharp 5, diminished 7, moving to 6 minor. Okay, and then we're going to go back to again playing the tritone on the 2, tritone on the 5, and the tritone on the 1. Okay, so again, bless that wonderful name of Jesus to the 4, and bless that wonderful name of tritone on the 2, 5, 1, and bless that wonderful name of 5 sharp 5 6, no other on the 2, name on the 5 I know on the 1. Okay, one more time. Bless that wonderful name of Jesus. Bless that wonderful name of Jesus. Bless that wonderful name of Jesus. No other name I know. Okay? And again, let me reiterate, this is just a real simplified, basic way to understand the structure or the formula behind it. And later on, I'll show you some things that you can do to really fatten it up and to beef it up to where it sounds a lot better. Okay, now first thing that I want to show you in terms of filling up the song or making it sound a little fuller, a little better, is what you can do with your left hand. Now the first thing that we're going to talk about is how you can play certain bass lines to really enhance the sound of the songs. Okay, so and we're going to do 3 basic bass lines that are real common in gospel music or in congregational songs. All right, first thing is this. We're going to take the 1-5-1 bass line. I call it the 1-5-1 bass line, okay? And let's demonstrate this in the key of E flat. All right, so basically, we're going to play an E flat dominant 7 chord